Hey you geeks! I hope you had a Merry Christmas or otherwise congenial Saturday, because that finale was sort of meh. The best excuse I can come up with is that the North Pole suite from Avatar: The Last Airbender already perfectly adapted the reincarnated dragon hero going to a spirit oasis with a girl power subplot, a mighty warrior subplot, 2 meaningful character deaths, and decent progression in all supporting cast plots. Since Amazon couldn't just copy-paste that, we got this instead. And it's fine. So many funky things going on in this episode. I liked some of the changes, but others broke even the show's logic, and I'm so confused. My main issue is, with the exception of Rand, almost everyone's character arcs were sacrificed for the plot or to create visually stunning scenes. Without character arcs to pick apart, this week I'm doing my alternative 10 Things style review. Full spoilers for the show. This week I'll just focus on the episode itself. Then next week I'll go over season 1 as a whole, adaptation, and give predictions for season 2. Rand gets his own episode again. Well, he and Moiraine, they make an odd pair striking out into the Blight.
The Blight is a rot, which spreads from the Dark One's prison and consumes everything in its path, including young men in way over their heads.
She says as if this whole thing isn't her idea. Moiraine walks the fine line between mentor-mother figure...
Here. Have some of that.
...and executioner.
You didn't think I'd come here without knowing what I was walking into, did you?
For a woman who can't lie, she can certainly hold a convincing bluff. Shockingly, so can Rand. Or rather, he learns fast. At first, he's pretty openly skeptical about the little dream world the Dark One traps him in.
Rand.
How long have we lived here?
But when the Dark One reveals his hand, Rand plays along.
How do I make it real?
He had me going at first, but I'm relieved that Rand chose the light, and Rand and Egwene's ongoing will they won't they relationship has come to a rather epic conclusion.
What about what she wants? And as much as I love her, as much as I want this, I know that she doesn't.
Though for all his talk and resolve that he can't force Egwene to live with him, he is equally resolved to make his friends and family live without him.
Tell them I died here.
Ostensibly for their own good. But if the Dark One is still a threat, then they will need a dragon, whether he is sane or not. The Dark One. We finally meet the Dark One, face to face, and discover he is a rather well-dressed man with a good deal of sass.
It's pathetic, you know. Coming for me with a single Aes Sedai at your side.
Is it moronic or brilliant that the show is self-aware of Moiraine's plan lacking certain crucial details?
What's her plan?
Even with the male Sa'angreal up her sleeve, there are a few things she's overlooking, and those details come crashing back in her face.
Will you teach me how to channel?
I can't.
Specifically, her lack of knowledge of Saiyadin, a power that the Dark One seems to be an expert in wielding.
Let the power flow through you like you're an open sieve.
Even wearing the same ring thingy that Luz Theron wore in the Age of Legends. Not surprising, since Amazon lets the audience in on a secret that the characters don't know. The man is not the Dark One. His character is named Ishamael, the Forsaken who's been teased this entire season.
The last time someone brought the dragon to the Dark One, we still remember his name 3,000 years on. Ishamael.
Just a man man who can channel saidin, untainted saidin. And that is terrifying enough. So Rand thinking he has beaten the Dark One makes some sense. But Moiraine is not so sure.
That this wasn't the last battle. I fear it was the first.
And we are left to wonder, where will they go from here? Lan and Nynaeve. This shows one true pairing. They complement each other, they share their strengths.
She has a tell. I can show you how.
Though I'm not really sure what a tell is in tracking, and how would that translate to the blight, which grows unlike anything in the two rivers.
It looks like it's been that way 1,000 years.
40 at most. 3 years ago it was miles from Tarwin's Gap.
Also, if this tell is so trackable, then why hadn't Lan noticed it when traveling with Moiraine all those years? Putting that aside, I can just be happy that a man and a woman are working together towards a common goal.
You would let me go without you.
You bring him back.
But this power couple seems doomed. Lan has reservations. Unlike Rand, who will lie to make his girl happy, Lan tells Nynaeve straight out.
I will hate the man you choose. Because he's not me. And I will love him if he makes you smile.
Though he doesn't say precisely why he can't marry Nynaeve, even if she isn't a wisdom. The show implies that his duties to Moiraine prevent him. But now that Moiraine might not be an Aes Sedai anymore, maybe there's hope. The Eye. Moiraine says that this is the Dark One's prison.
There's a reason why this prison is the worst hell on earth.
Rand says that he, that is Luz, has been there before and fought Ishamael here. And they fought over the seal. Is the seal the eye of the world? Or is the pit as a whole the eye? Interesting note, Luz called the Tamerlane in the Age of Legends the Watcher of the Flame. But Swan's title is a little different.
The Watcher of the Seals, the Flame of Tar Valon.
So, what are these seals Swan is watching? And did Rand just break one of them? Tactics. I think they struck a good balance between cinematic shots and battle tactics. From little details like Dark Friends sabotaging the defense.
But 2 ropes were cut on the drawbridge. There are Dark Friends inside our walls.
Forcing them to go on the offensive and majestically charge across a field. Splitting the men on the wall and the women in the city gave a sense of desperation as the wall fell and Egelmeyer got a spear in his breastplate. It's inferred he died, but his eyes are still moving when the Trollocs break through. So as far as we know, he is not yet dead. With all of the fake-out deaths this episode, I almost want him to stay dead. As for why the women didn't go to the wall, we see them hold Fal Dara at great cost. A cost no Shienaran man of honor would let a woman bear if he still drew breath. Burnout. I like that we saw women burning themselves out in the last defense of Fal Dara. All this time we've seen Aes Sedai operating at their A-game, seemingly unstoppable. Seeing a real cost to channeling and that women, although not Aes Sedai, can't fend off the Dark One alone and walk away unscathed points to that while the world may be fine right now, it's not ready for what's coming. A truly profound statement, which is almost immediately undercut by having Egwene heal Nynaeve from the brink of death. I can't accept that she was totally dead.
There's a big difference between mostly dead and all dead.
The show blew my quota for fake-out deaths early this episode. So faking out Nynaeve's death in a way that relies far too much on the magical power of plot contrivance, aka her nature as a Targaryen, doesn't feel like it's a satisfying place to end her or Egwene's arcs. Stilling. I am not sure what happened to Moiraine. I thought Ishamael had just placed a sort of permanent shield over her. We see the shield placed, then he does an action like it's being tied off, and then says,
Must be an awful feeling to know the one power is there, just at the end of your fingertips, but you can't quite touch it.
This sounds and looks different from what we've seen as severing a person from a power before. But that was women gentling a man. This is a man stilling a woman. In an interview with CBR, Rafe heavily implies that Moiraine is stilled, though if it takes the showrunner to come out and say what happened in a scene, then that scene has issues. If there's anything in the world that points towards her being stilled, is her trouble bonding with Lan.
I must bond. Let me back in. I can't.
At first, I was confused by this because the show had said that masking the bond is not of the power. So if she was only shielded, she could unmask the bond. But if she's been stilled, then maybe it's not a matter of unmasking, but rather one of remaking. I would assume that a warder bond breaks if the Aes Sedai is stilled. The show has not indicated this in any way yet, but if stilling breaks Moraine's bonds, then her prohibition on lying should be gone as well. And she still seems to think that that oath binds her.
I cannot lie.
You'll work out a way.
I don't know. Let's flip a coin. Heads she stilled, tails she shielded. The axe. Apparently, Perrin was converted to the Way of the Leaf when he stayed with the Tinkers. This episode starts with him regretting that decision.
How can we just sit here while everyone else is willing to fight?
Which comes as a complete surprise, though it really shouldn't have. Instead of that ridiculous love triangle, they could have built up Perrin's flirtation with pacifism. Sure, Egwene is the one to grab the knife back in the White Cloaks camp, and we have Perrin telling Rand about Tinker vegetarianism.
The way of the leaf is simple. Do no violence.
But neither clearly indicated to me that he had taken on the way himself. Would it have been too hard to have someone offer Perrin a pointy object and he refuse? That could have been morally interesting, unlike what we got, where he stares stupidly in the mid-space as other people make decisions around him. When he finally does pick up the axe, it's too late.
Tiny's push and you choose the dog.
I can't take that axe seriously at all. The beard is on top of this axe, making it look like a mohawk. And like a chicken I know in King Arthur's court. I didn't think this Arthurian abomination needed an origin story, but Perrin is giving great precedent for the chickens of King Arthur's court. At best, Sir Bladebeak. At worst, bravely bold Sir Robin. Tinkers do not run away from trouble. They face it head on. Perrin fails both as a pacifist and as a warrior, and I am not happy. The dagger. Because of Perrin running off, Loial gets stabbed by Padan Thane wielding Matt's dagger. After that, he seems to be very dead. However, Rafe has come out and said Loial is not dead, thus blowing way past my threshold of acceptable death fakeouts. If the blade didn't kill him, Shadar Logoth's evil certainly would. An evil Thane seems to think has snared Matt already.
We need the dark. We need balance.
I knew we weren't done in Tar Valon, where it looks like Matt is still moping around. Though if he wants to find the dagger, he's got quite a trek ahead of him. The Horn of Valir. A new MacGuffin. Not much is known about the legendary Horn of Valir. The show just says it will be needed by the dragon at the last battle.
The Horn of Bloody Valir, lad.
To be blown at the last battle. To call the Patton's greatest heroes to stand at our side.
So it makes sense that when Agelmire believes that the last battle is here, he sets his men to retrieve the horn.
You know what you need to do.
Not sure why it took them all day to pull it out from under the throne, or why it was just under a throne, besides creating a more dramatic and dark space for Padan Thane and his Fades to attack.
Who gave you those words?
And kill everyone, including Uno and his bloody eye patch. Why? Though, if Loial is still alive, then there is hope for our filthy mouth friend. Now the horn is gone, but does it matter? Rand seems to think he's defeated the Dark One and is off into the Blight. If prophecy says that the dragon needs the horn at the last battle, I suppose we'll have to hunt both down before the last battle can happen. Thank you for watching. Please like, share, and subscribe if you would like to see more. Your patronage is greatly appreciated.